We're live. We're live. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency Board meeting for October 9th, 2025. Thank you all for being here. We have a quorum. Thank you. I think we're only missing Tim Larson, and all other board members are here. We're joined also by all our key advisors and staff. Thank you. We're going to have administrative reports in a minute. We have someone speaking on behalf of a project for one of our project reports, so I'm going to skip over to item 4 on the agenda, project reports for 178 Maple Street. I know we're joined today not by the developer. The developer is Brian Green, but we're here joined by Tom Morelli. And let me turn it over to Jeff Flagg first to start, and then have Tom join us.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
Before we have this meeting on 178 Maple, I'd like to remind the IDA members that this building is a building that my company, Celtic Attitudes, has been a tenant in for over the last 10 years through a couple different owners. And I will recuse myself from any vote or any comment. I'll remain silent. I'll leave the room if the members think it's important that I do so. But it's it's a public meeting. I just want to make sure everybody at the table, and that I have not had any conversations with the attorney or the new landlord. Like I will wait to hear if the building sells. They'll contact me and let me know if I need to pack my bag as it should be, right? So just want everybody to be aware and make sure that before this meeting that we make very clear that the mayor is the mayor's company, Celtic Attitudes Clothing LLC, is a tenant in this building, and I have no say in this vote, and I'll abstain from any vote or comment. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
and
you.
You haven't discussed it with me either.
No.
So that's on the record, and you're welcome to stay because we've got a lot of other things going on afterwards. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff.
So I'm here with Tommy Morelli, who's a representative from Green Springs Capital. Brian Green, the CEO, was traveling today and wasn't able to make it, but hopefully we can answer any questions that you have. This is an unusual project. You guys might recall to mind this building, which is a former warehouse building under a number of different iterations. The city was able to secure a Restore New York grant for this a couple of years ago. Green Springs Capital was actually the third attempt to try and make this project work. And we've gotten a little bit of pushback from the state. What's happening with this grant. They've been pretty tolerant, the Power State Development has, but it's something we wanted to get moving. Between the other issue that they had with this grant, the opportunity really in some ways when they were able to make it work, was that it is eligible for historic tax credits. So there's a reasonable amount of public funding that's going into this building to make it work. The owners came to me or came to the IDA for an application for some tax relief, mainly because there's a time lag, pretty substantial time lag before they can be able to make some of these tax credits and benefits and grant monies work. So being able to monetize this, there's a pretty substantial lag time. So the idea here was to try and provide short-term, for the IDA anyway, a short-term some tax relief until they can monetize the benefits that they're looking for from these other sources. So I think what we had suggested was in addition to sales tax rebates and mortgage tax exemptions, was a short-term 5-year in the case of the IDA. Our standard is 7-year. As you know, we can go out as far as 15, but in this case, we're looking at a 5-year process, which of course is 3 years current and then 2 years at 50%. And that's, again, to give them some sufficient time to try and monetize the assets.
So, and let me just add to that, I've gone over this with Jeff very closely, looked very closely at the budgets, and it's a $4.4 million project in total with acquisition, construction costs, all hard costs. And we did look at variations on the potential for a pilot. We looked very closely at the cash flow and negative cash flow in the first year, but does start to move towards positive cash flow in year 2 and on up. And so we thought a 5-year pilot seemed to work well for this, given the budgets. And everyone, I think, has a copy of that.
Oh, we're about to get it.
Oh, you're good. So, yeah, that is, just want to add that to Jeff's. And Tom, if you'd like to say something, you're happy to say something, or if you're just here to answer questions, we'll take questions from the members.
I think I can add just that the original project, when it was purchased, it was meant to be a 14-unit residential development. It's since increased to 19 residential units with 1 commercial space. So we have increased not only the number of units, but also the investment in the property. And we did in fact close on all 3 parcels on October 3rd. So we are currently owners of the properties. The next step would be to finalize our construction financing, which is partly contingent on a pilot agreement, as well as many other items. And that's where we are today, and I can answer any other questions you might have.
Yeah, and I believe this was the commercial space essentially is where the garage was, right? I mean, you have there's a pretty large garage that could be converted into a commercial space.
Yeah, if you look at the front of the building to the right, there's a large garage that is pretty much abandoned, essentially. But the commercial space is going to be part of the garage into the first floor. And then the rest will be apartments. I believe it's going to be 4 studio apartments, 14 one-bedroom apartments, and 1 2-bedroom apartment. And then with the commercial space on the first floor.
And then the additional parcel, I think, that you got from,
Yeah.
the electric, the parking parcel.
The owner, Nap.
Yeah, Nap Holdings.
Yeah, from the company that's right adjacent. And that was for some parking, and I believe you guys already owned the planning board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the original project was purchased just as 178, 180 Maple Street, but then we determined that more parking was needed. So we had to buy the rear lot behind that, which was sold by Nap Holdings, and that allowed us to expand the parking to get approval for the number of apartments. There was also an issue that was discovered with the building that requires some storm management work, which the parking lot can facilitate.
Okay. Any questions by the members? Okay. There being none, there's a proposed resolution to approve this. I think everyone has a copy of that in your documents. And if we approve this, then,
Oh, so,
you know what, I don't have the resolution, here.
We got it in a separate email.
It was in the separate email, gotcha. It was in a separate email by Suzanne, the same day we got our documents for the board meeting.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll get that posted to the website, the resolution? Okay. All right. So
It should be there in the drafts already, but yes.
Okay, it's not with the meeting documents.
Was it not? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, normally we do that, but I
Yeah.
apologize.
Okay, so, we have the resolution now, and is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? or-
One abstention.
One abstention? All right, motion passes, and we are good with this.
Yes, the next thing we'll have to do is set a date for
The
a public hearing.
right,
Talk
so
about that.
shouldn't we?
Is that
So-
should address that?
so there's, if I can just interject, there's been a request because of the financing. The financing was, when they purchased the property last week, that was going to be part of the entire financing package, but they bifurcated that so that they could wait for the IDA to take action on this project. So there's a need to close before November 30th.
31st.
Yeah.
So because of the, the holiday and our scheduling, they've asked if we could have a special meeting in between so that we can close the first part of November with their lender. So the earliest, because of the post-star schedule, the earliest we can, do this is October 28th. And Suzanne has the availability of Brian Green, who will then attend the public hearing.
He prefers the 28th or 29th. I gave him 8 AM, but he could do the 30th at 8 AM if he had to.
I'm okay on the 28th.
I'm okay on the 28th, except in the afternoon.
Well, we'd be doing this first thing in the morning
Okay. So October 28th,
at 8 a.m. Is that what we're saying?
and can we do it here?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you, do a
Peter,
motion?
can you do that?
October 28th at
Yeah,
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
So,
Can you do a motion to,
yep,
not, you don't need to set the public hearing, but to set a special meeting for that date?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Yes.
I'm calling
Okay.
for a special, and we may have another project actually to come on that same date, so, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it may not just be this one project, okay? So I would like to call a motion to hold a special board meeting of the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency on October 28th, 2025, starting at 8 a.m. Here at the Fitzgerald Morris Baker offices.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions?
One abstention.
Yes.
All right, one abstention. And we have
Did that
a,
work for you? We didn't even ask you. Was 8 a.m. on the 28th work for you?
I will make myself
You're-
known.
all right. And so that's that. All right, I'm gonna move on to other board meeting items. Oh,
All right, I think we
Yeah,
did.
Tommy,
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's go to administrative reports and go back to you, Jeff, and take care of that.
Yeah, nothing in particular other than the fact that we'll be talking about the budget, renewing the budget. There are some projects that I want to talk about. I don't know if it's under, well, we have it under projects and resolutions, but just so you know, I mentioned, was talking about it before the meeting began, Nacho has begun construction on the HCR project. We're gonna have a formal groundbreaking, which I guess is sort of an opening ceremony more than groundbreaking, since they've been working on this for a while. But HCR had sort of wanted to sort of set up something a little more, I would say elaborate, a little more formal. So next Wednesday, at times, 1 o'clock? Yeah, next Wednesday, we're gonna be having a groundbreaking ceremony. It'll be held at the end, and then we'll go over it. It's a construction site now, so it's difficult to have the entire event on the construction property. So we're gonna hold it at the end, and then everybody will go over. So hoping to get a pretty robust invitee list. We have a pretty robust list, but we're hoping to get some good attendance there for next week. But that's really what's going on there. As you probably know, the Chris Patton's projects are moving forward. He's gone back to the planning board to make some revisions for the 4656 building. He's also moving forward with the other project at the end of the block there, in the Red 8. And also, I'm told, but I haven't confirmed quite yet, that Brian Connor has also begun his construction on Union Square there around the corner. So that project is, and I think you guys remember, he was doing some sort of minor demo before when he came in for his support from the IDA. But all these projects are sort of moving forward, so we're getting pretty close to the completion, if you will, of South Street. Certainly, every project that we're aware of on South Street that's the city's involved in is underway. Let's just put it that way.
For the Chris Patton project, I happened to be at the planning board meeting when he was there making that presentation, and the additional work he's doing is relatively minor, but beneficial to the commercial spaces, just basically putting an overhang over it. But he told me at the time that he's already got 4 out of the 5 spaces with a letter of intent to occupy those commercial spaces. So
Yeah, he actually did have, one of his prospective tenants came in yesterday, looking for some seeing the lay of the land, if you will, for what, you know, the city might be able to help them with. So, and also, Bonaccio has a current tenant, a lease signed, for this dog grooming and pet store, pet retail store on where the Hot Shots is. And then also, according to Larry Noah, they're one signature away from a tenant in Sandy's as well. Actually doing some fit-out design, and that would be a restaurant concept store as well.
And we're gonna be talking about some assistance for the dog grooming place we already seen.
Okay.
Okay, so,
I don't know if Jeff mentioned that, just wanted to make sure that you're all aware and have it in your books, October 15th.
He did
1 o'clock,
mention,
sorry.
yeah. No, we all, I received an invitation,
Yeah,
I
I did.
assumed that they're, and that I was.
Fantastic.
You all were the one.
And please, spread the word. We'd like, you know, this is the last piece, right? The last official groundbreaking, even though the ground has been broken long since. This was the earliest we could get HCR through their busy schedule altogether, and we want to make sure that we're recognizing the great contributions of these organizations, of the LDC, and you know, where we are with this moving forward. 88 workforce apartments in this project, new commercial space on South Street. This is fantastic.
20 rented.
24,
Right.
still a $24 million project, that's still
I
the,
think that was 26.
it was
And
26.
it's probably gone up with their digging right now.
Right.
It's one of the foundations, building foundations that were on their plans.
That we've agreed to a pilot for this, right? I mean, look.
Yeah, the city is actually,
City,
the
yes.
idea that this is because it's a tax credit project and a longer term, that was a city approved pilot.
So I'm getting my agencies mixed, but please know that we are super proud of this happening, October 15th. Please come and tell everybody about it if you can share the information. We'd love it. Thank you.
the principal way that affordable housing is financed throughout the country is with what's called a 9% low-income housing tax credit. That's a program that's been around for almost 40 years. It's only the second 9% tax credit in the city of Glens. So we haven't had many. Most communities have had many. And we have not, so this is, I think, important. Okay.
I didn't know that. And thank you for pointing that out. I know how important this is to our future moving, that relationship with HCR, the relationship with ESD. This is the momentum is upon you. Look at all the applications you're getting. It's fantastic.
Yep.
Real quick, I think it's also worth mentioning, you know, that with all these construction projects going, a lot of housing projects going on, they sort of run the gamut. You know, you're talking about the workforce housing, dedicated workforce housing program here. Most of the rest of the development down there is market rate, and some are higher than others. You know, the Nacho buildings look to be priced somewhat higher than Chris Patton's buildings. They just do different kinds of work or appeal to different kinds of customers, or clients or tenants. We've also got, you know, this vacant rental improvement program, right, which has a sort of a workforce development bent to it. There have to be some limitations on any of these restorations or renovations or conversions that we can help individual building owners to do. We've got about now, it looks like we may have as many as 18 or 19 units that we've got sort of, at least in the pipeline to do, all around the city, not just downtown.
And that's, for the record, that's $1.1 million worth of support that's coming from the state that our offices are managing to get out to people who have vacant buildings to be able to have them restore those and turn those into living space. It's an incredible brand new program at
Yeah.
UCR.
And those again are, you know, most of those are somewhat higher than the bulk of the spaces that are going to be in this new building, right? But they're not market rate either. So you're really trying to find, you know, in building all these things, people say you need more workforce, you need more market rate, you need more. Well, when you're getting all these things done, what you're trying to do is to find, you know, everything. You know, we need everything. So every level of housing, certainly expense, you know, as well. We're trying to sort of fill each of those little niches.
All of it, everything, everywhere.
I think also we should, Mary, get our subcommittee, our committee back together again to talk about possibly changing our bylaws to allow for residential only. Warren Washington IDA is already doing that, and they've gratefully taken on a couple of projects that normally would have come to us because they were residential only. But I don't think it's an urgent need, but maybe something we should try to do before the end of the year if we can.
While we have a guest here who has a commercial space in a residential property, could I ask you if IDA's requirement that there be a commercial investment had any effect on your plans for your development? Or would you have gone 100% residential if we could loan on residential only?
I can't speak for the owner.
Right.
I can only speculate that, knowing the history of the project, that it originally was going to be a purely commercial investment, but that the numbers didn't work out in the favor of my client, that they proceeded to switch to residential. And then the most recent design change that was brought in front of the planning board meeting was the addition of the cafe. You know, it's my understanding that, you know, that was taken into consideration as part of the.
I just wonder, to your point about the committee and that possible change, if we are cutting off our nose to spite our face by not encouraging commercial investment or allowing our requirement that there be a commercial element may be very much influencing these residential developments to at least include a commercial space, which I think helps our tax base.
Well,
So,
it does.
So, it's a point I think we should consider.
I think also the
Thank you very
the
much.
addition of the residential is that it's bringing people here in some cases to fill jobs that otherwise weren't getting filled. So there is a commercial benefit, if you will, for the residential to the area and or helping people to stay here that might otherwise move. But having a cafe in a project like that, I think is tremendous. For the residents,
I absolutely do, but I'm just saying, if they couldn't get our assistance without something like that,
Yeah.
would they have bothered? Now that they want our assistance, it added that element, not only to the neighborhood, but not only to that development, but to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal thing. So if you eliminate that requirement, do we miss an opportunity?
I think you also have to keep in mind where you're talking about too. I mean, there are locations, you know, whether the post-star building, you know, really is a place where you need extra commercial development. I don't know, you can debate it. It was a commercial space, obviously. But, you know, if there are locations where you have a residential area where someone's gonna build something, like let's suppose you went farther down South Street, that little South Street extension, there's that big lot there, right next to the development office of the hospital. What if someone wanted to build something there? The idea of having a commercial space there might almost be, it wouldn't work. So I don't think I think this body should probably encourage that in most cases anyway. Certainly downtown. In most cases, you can't build on the first floor anyway, depending on where you are. But it seems like it gives us the flexibility. And as Judy said, you know, it's sort of ironic that what you ended up with, perfect example would be Chris Patton's building at the right? He doesn't have commercial on the first space because he tried to be more creative and allowing parking on the first floor underneath the building. Well, by definition, then he's lost. And I think it was a good decision on his part because he was able to provide parking for both of those buildings. But what it did was it removes where the commercial space would be, so you're not going to put it on the second floor. And so then, you know, and unfortunately the WIDA was able to help in that case because he really needed the assistance with that. But it's just, you know, I think it provides some flexibility. I mean, it doesn't mandate that we're required to accept, right? The UTEP could be modified and simply this, you know, the board can still say there should be commercial here, you know,
Right.
there.
Yeah, it still should be
You
our
could make the change, but have it designated be the preference of.
Yeah, we could have different incentives based on one has a commercial component versus just purely residential.
Cool.
Well, and it's interesting,
It
Jeff
seems
and
like
I,
you just subsidize landlords if you just have
Right.
a restaurant.
Right.
Jeff and I sit on the comprehensive plan committee, and one of the things that has been constantly talked about is, you know, that we're a walking community, we're a walking issue, we're a walking city. And in some places, you cannot walk to a cafe, for instance, or you cannot walk to a laundromat, and you cannot walk to some place where you'd be able to do your business without having to take a car. And so there's been some interest from the committee to talk about that as the next step in the planning process, but just that there's been a lot of interest declared. So I mean, I think opening it up to be able to have it as residential is a good idea, but I think the chairman, the mayor's point is also really important, and John's point too, that it should be the preference, I think, in many places, but also to Jeff's point, there's areas, residential areas where you don't want that. So, you know, I think it becomes
So it becomes the exception rather than the rule. That to me is a much
And
better.
what a great conversation. You know, I'm sorry, I think you should have the committee meeting, I agree, and you should have this conversation and continue to have more, and then share with us your thoughts as you go and any data that you pull together. There's certainly a housing shortage, and we certainly need more of it, but we need to be careful that we don't cut our nose to spite our face, even by accident. But what a great conversation. I could not have imagined 12 years ago when I got on the Common Council that we'd be in a position to talk like that. And when I became mayor and we start to look at these funds and the fact that we had the money to loan and we weren't loaning and the interest rates were really low and businesses weren't, right? And the last people who made any significant, the hospital, when they're not even borrowing money, they're raising money to pay for it ahead of time, right? And didn't use our low bond or potential things. So, I mean, it's just amazing how much can change in such a short period of time. The momentum we have, the fact that we want to consider this, that it's important to consider it. We certainly need more housing, but you also don't want to. You know, it is awful nice that you're getting a cafe in an apartment building that you might not have gotten if you didn't have that,
Exactly.
right? And we do have. There are people calling for all sorts of things. There are people just recently at our homeless shelter calling for more Section 8 housing. I thought I'd hear that. Not that I agree or disagree. I'm not. But I've never, it's the first time I've heard publicly somebody say, we need more Section 8 housing for those of us who are struggling, and there are more people needing it. I've heard comments about there are too many restaurants. You need to put a moratorium on restaurants. Stop letting restaurants come in. We need more, right? I know, of course not, right? But it's funny, right? You know, there's this stuff, and it's what an amazing experience from my point of view to be in these conversations and also for me to not pipe in and weigh in because I'm wrong no matter what I say to any of those things. So it's just what a great opportunity we're at. And please do have the conversations. Please
do that. Maybe we'll do a public meeting too related to that, or I'll talk to Mary. We'll get it set up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and so the last point I'm going to make is I met with Jeff at late yesterday, and Tyler Fronte from the Post-Star project on Cooper Street is not here with us today because both he's traveling and we've determined that the application isn't 100% complete. We've asked him to make some additional changes to the budget, and he's going to take care of that this week, and so we're putting that on hold right now until he gets back and we can finish that. And so if it is ready, I'd like to put it on the agenda for that October 28th meeting if we can. All right? Anything else? All right, so I'm going to go to the minutes. We've got the minutes from the regular meeting that we held on September 16th, 2025. Everyone's got a copy of those. Anybody got any changes or questions? There being none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or nays or noes? Okay. All right. Motion passes and the minutes are approved. We'll get those posted. So we've got the financial report for September 30th, 2025. Mark Toomey's here with us today. Mark, anything you want to add?
Revenue, we had the check coming from Nomads for the Broad Street project for $26,737. Farm expense, we had $190.99 for the internet spectrum. Fitzgerald bills at $1,088, and 40% of my September hours for $381. That is it.
Okay, any questions for Mark? There being none, is there a motion to approve the financial report for September 30th?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? There being none, the motion is passed, financial
Making sure
report is
he's leaving the
approved,
room didn't bother us.
and we'll get that posted. Payment of bills, in accordance with Schedule A, we have 5 bills for a total of $3,611.99. Any questions on those?
Make a motion?
Is there a motion? You made it?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. We're all looking at this internet monthly and wondering,
Yeah. $109.99?
well, I guarantee you that it's only costing them 2 cents to run the internet to our building, and they're charging us $108.97 extra cents for that. You know, but
And why does it say Charter Communications, isn't it Spectrum?
It is, but Charter is the corporate parent.
Yes.
It's pretty decent product.
Okay. All right. So, payment of bills has been approved, there's no nays or abstentions, so we will get those bills paid, we'll get those signed, I guess, today. Review a 5-year budget. Go ahead. Mark?
Yay, Mark.
Back up.
We put the revenue for crew coffee into 2026 for the $37,500, and estimated the following years at $20,000. Same thing for farm income estimates. Expenses down below, it's basically a 3-year average from the past. Adjusted a couple of things, legal maybe estimated that downwards a bit. Everything else is fairly consistent with prior years, again, based on the 3-year average.
Yeah, there's one correction that I had to make at the risk of sounding greedy. The current budget shows the CEO at 6250, it's not, it's 65, which is why if you look at the most recent statement, it's 1625, so those actually should all be pulled forward one. So what I did was, and I didn't make it in this version, but the current budget is actually 65, the adopted one. Then the budgets for the future years should all be pulled forward, so the next one's 6750, and so on. And what I did to offset that is in the revenue line, you look and see the interest income we have from our CDs. You can see we've made, just through the end of the year, we've made $3,200.
Yeah.
Just been, we show you the difference when you finally have decent interest rates. So you can pull forward the $250 and make the 150 interest income for the future years, 400 years. Well, on your budget. And I'll keep that posted. So we can make that one revision.
Okay. And you'll make the revision in the budget and send it out to the
Yeah.
members as well?
I believe already
Yeah,
got this,
and-
is not the version.
And I think that this needs to get posted to the ADO soon.
Yeah.
End of the month. End of the month.
So with that one revision, we can approve the proposed budget, 5-year plan, if you will, if everyone's in agreement. Is there a motion to approve with that change?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? There being none, the motion is approved, and we'll get that refreshed copy out to the members. We'll get it posted on our website, and we'll get it posted to the ABO. Any other administrative reports? There being none, we've already done all project reports, I'm not gonna go back to that. Any other business for the IDA?
Just, on crew coffee, we are
Oh,
scheduled for tomorrow.
oh, wow.
Really?
So I need, as you both know, I have everything for you guys to sign.
Okay.
So the closing is at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Congratulations, Kara. Yay.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
No, it's been, I feel terrible for like, we're definitely closing before Thanksgiving. Well, we are, but it's this Thanksgiving.
You know, the interesting thing, I know we want to move on, but I went to the, there was a meeting, they met out at the site, because there was some, DEC was making some testing to make sure that the adjacent property,
No leaching,
right, that there was no leaching over. It was the timeline, when they didn't find anything, or any problems, but I remember talking to Kyle, the crew guy at the end, and I said, I'm really sorry for this delay, and he goes, the city's been great, the city's been really one of the best. And I said, I'm glad to have this other blockades to your project, so that we can look so much better. But it was good, so he's very good, he understood the way the process worked. And it really had nothing to do with the Tech Meadows thing, it was really more about the proximity to that site adjacent, which is not proving to be an issue.
All right, so, our next meeting will be October 28th at 8 AM, and then we'll probably still have our regular next meeting after that on November 13th.
Good thing we like each other.
Yes. And so I'm gonna call for an adjournment of the IDA meeting.
So moved.
Second. All right, we are adjourned. May I turn it over to you for LDC, and then we can do civic and urban renewal.
Okay, let us open up the Greater Glens Falls Local Development Corporation. It's still October 9th, and we have a quorum. We only have one member, Tim Larson, not with us. Our advisors are still here. Thank you, everybody. And so we start with administrative reports and approvals. We have the minutes of a regular meeting on September 16th. In front of you, are there any changes, suggestions, amendments? Not hearing any. Do we have a motion to approve the September 16th meeting minutes? And second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention. Denise wasn't here. That's great. The motion carries, thank you. And then financial reports. Mark, we got 9 months ending September 30th, 2025.
We have the Fitzgerald bill for $368, StoreTech for the annual fee, the computer backup, $599.88. $25,000 is for Talk of the Town, and my 6% of my August hour is $571.50. That is it.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Anybody have any questions for Mark? Not hearing any. Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
Not yet. We're doing financial report.
Financial report first.
I move
Pay
to accept the financial
report,
report.
not pay the bills. Thank you. Bills coming next.
Right, bill, upcoming bill.
Very good. Financial report, a motion.
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Now we'll go.
Now we can pay
Payment
the
of the
people.
bills.
Pay the people.
Mark, can you review the bills with us?
This is my September hours for $445, Fitzgerald bill for $112, and CEO wage for third quarter $1,625, for a total of $2,182.50.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from Mark? Not hearing any, do we have a motion to now pay the bill?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Review of the 5-year budget. Mark has an update for us. Mark, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, similar to IDA, just used a 3-year average on the expense. The only changes may be lowered, anticipating the share of the technical taxes and technical insurance. Put numbers in for 26, 27, 28. There's a item on the balance sheet of $143,000 that the city, that we owe the city from prior years, probably dating back to 2018. So the auditors had us 2 years ago to remove part of that due to the city. They put it against expense on the LDC side. So that's what those numbers are.
And we believe
the city because we didn't have any funding to make the application. That's actually right. I remember.
So the city general fund gave
Yes.
that?
Right.
Right.
So now that's now
We're paying it
5
back.
or 6 years and we're paying it back, or do we
Well,
just write it off?
The auditors suggested that we at least record it as part of the budget.
Right.
Okay.
We need to have a determination, which we feel like we were gonna make today, because we had a lot of things going on, about whether we're gonna ask the city if they forgive us. But we haven't gotten to
Right.
that
Well,
point, or
it's
that
a-
discussion.
It was,
It's a-
and was it, it was before
Part of
ARPA, so
Correct.
it was maybe when the DRI was originally
Correct.
passed
So
under
it's
Mayor
part of-
Diamond administration?
Correct, part of the 600,000 arts and business DRI grant that was given to the LDC at the time.
Gotcha.
And so that ended up, there was process issues where some of the money that was fronted to the organizations did not, the organizations didn't have all the proper reimbursement paperwork, and so therefore the LDC ended up paying them, getting back reimbursement paperwork that was not fully approved, and so therefore it never got reimbursed by the, I forget what the HCR, right? That was the HCR grant.
So, another question just before we move on, I don't know that we'll take any action, I think we need to put this in front of probably put it in front of the council, but Jeff, is the repayment of this, or the mention of this in any of the current DRI budgets that have been approved by the council? So is there any way that, I doubt it, but I just want to ask the question to be sure of.
So I believe that the way that this whole thing was set up was if we got reimbursed, the city we'd pass it through to the city.
Gotcha.
So when it was passed by the council, it was it was with a condition that it might be a grant rather than a loan kind of thing. So I think that in day one, this was anticipated because we realized who we were dealing with and the possibility that we would never get complete paperwork, which
Which is what happened. Okay, gotcha. So, then if it's not part of any budget, I think then it's, and since it's in there that we, the city isn't really expecting
that's
this back.
correct.
It's not
The city
current.
passed a thing saying, we know we may never see this again.
So I think you can, we can just write that off. Leave your budget alone now and write it off as the
Right.
auditors tell you to. And if it's not in any kind of current DRI budget where we're expecting that money to
Right.
come back in, then we should
No,
be
because we
fine.
have closed out the arts, we're done.
Oh, right,
We're done.
okay.
We're
so
not
that's
sending
part of
Mr.
it.
Thatcher back out there to beg anymore.
All right, so good. We should be fine.
Why don't you pull up the minutes from that city
Yeah, I just
council?
took that note, yep.
All
yep,
right,
I'm
so
gonna do
you've
that,
got it,
yes.
and then
Absolutely.
if we've got to come back together, you've got it.
Yes, right, yep.
Thank
It'll
you.
be in our minutes too.
It'll be in our
Yeah.
minutes as
Yeah.
well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you've got the date and what.
Good clarity.
Right, right.
Any other questions about the 5-year budget?
So do you want to talk about your thought about what you want to do, how you want to make some minor changes, or do you want to?
Yeah, let me see, pull it up.
Says budget
B?
Yep.
So in this 5-year budget, right now, just so you're all, give you an update, we have interest from Taste New York. It's not Taste of New York. I always say Taste of New York, and it's not. It's Taste New York. We've met with Taste New York. They are interested in helping be a sponsor or for us to work on a contract with them for 36 Inc. They actually have experience in other Taste New Yorks running commercial kitchens. It's part of Taste New York. They're very excited. They know of our current budget and how we're fitting the facility out, and they are suggesting that the best person to be the operator, because it can be an operator of anybody's choosing, but they have an operator, which is Cornell Cooperative Extension, that is doing this and very similar projects in Binghamton, Jeff's, I know mentioned before Binghamton, but others that have similar, fairly similar projects. So those negotiations are going well, and we're moving full steam ahead. I hope to have a report from you very soon. We're trying to now meet with those people at Cornell and see what they think. But Taste of New York is very excited and thinks it's appropriate and would love the idea. Also likes the idea that we're thinking about the region and not just Glens Falls, and it's regional food producers from the region with a priority in Glens Falls, and then in Warren County, and then Washington County, and kind of the subcommittees that were made, like a circumference, right? That you give priority to products made in Glens Falls, then the next priority to products made in Warren County, then the next one's in Washington, and so on and so forth out to New York. So they're very excited, and we're working with them. So what I suggested is they had some changes that highlighted in red. 36.
They don't have this.
Oh, okay,
Right,
so-
this was, I wanted to have this.
So I will send this to you and for your consideration, that we put more, so we had money that the city gave to the LDC through the ARPA money, and that we put some of that towards the operating budget of this, and not as much in the business program, because we know that there's going to be expenses here that we don't know what they are, and that would be an appropriate use for it. So I made those suggested changes. You'll see them in the budget that comes to you. I wanted you to know, I think we should still have some small business recovery money of maybe $20,000, $25,000 a year as years go on, but the other money that is available to the LDC that we got from ARPA money from the city should go in towards the covering any expenses of it goes. And we'll have more information from you about the profit and loss perspectives as we get that information. But in the meanwhile, while you're setting a 5-year budget, why not allocate that money that you got from ARPA money towards the operation of it, covering expenses?
And it goes directly to what the original, so Mayor Hall gave just a bit of money to the LDC to support small businesses. This is the same basic thing, except it's going into the organization, the building or the kitchen and store that we're running. It's going to support small businesses to be able to continue to grow and continue to flourish here in the city through our kitchen and through our store. So I mean, in our minds, it absolutely, fits that mission.
Fits it.
So we need to get this, we need to get our 5-year plan posted in order to meet the requirements of the ABO. Do you want to just pass the one that we have, or do you,
And amend it.
and then amend it, or do you want to amend it now? I don't know what the numbers
I don't
are.
know what we prefer to do.
Well, I think we'll probably should take past the one we have and then give you an amendment, because I basically, when I saw this last night, made this suggestion, so it's not fair of me to, so what I had done. and
Spend more time and make sure your
Yeah,
numbers are.
make sure my numbers work for you, and then you can always amend this.
Yeah, you can always amend it, but I would get it posted to meet the deadline.
Okay.
Good, okay?
Yep.
So we'll make,
So that's-
the one you got in front of you, there it is. I've got some suggested changes where basically we're just gonna keep the small business numbers at $25,000 a year, and additional money that we got from ARPA towards the covering any potential expenses.
Right, it
in
goes into the
36.
36 Inc. expenses line. So just so that you
It's
know.
just
I know that there's-
reallocating the number.
Correct, so
Correct.
instead of 50-25, 50-25, 50, it's 25,000 across for a program for the line called ARPA projects, which should be called SBS projects, Mark, that's the program that's used.
So you guys
And then
we'll you play with the numbers, make sure you can make it work,
it does.
and then send it back to
It
us.
does, okay. Yep.
Thank you.
So I'll pass a motion that we approve the current 5-year plan as presented, so that we can get that posted to the ABO on time.
And I will second that motion. Now we'll vote.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Gotta remind myself to roll on. Okay, let's see. I don't believe we have any other reports, if nobody else does. Then we've got the project reports 36 Inc. updates from Jeff.
Yeah, just to let you know, so we put out the bid documents for construction of the fit out of 36 Inc. Those are due, we'll have the opening of the dock of the bids next Friday. So we're hoping to get that started as soon as, I'm sorry, Pete, what was it?
No, I'm sorry, I was talking.
Oh, so we're hoping to have that, and we'll have the bids next week, and we're hoping to get, construction documents and things like that soon after. It had to be split up separately, so there's one for general contractor, another one for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, that's gonna follow soon thereafter.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Which we've done that.
So we're gonna be, that's a couple weeks behind. We look to be hopefully under construction by November.
Okay.
Yes, so that's good. Crew coffee, we've kind of
Yeah, the only quick update there is the fact that the mayor signed the agreement, which we talked about in May, I believe, to allow them to get on the property as they're getting ready to close, so that they can move equipment on there and get started as quickly as possible. So the mayor signed that, we sent that back to Kara, and then it goes off into wherever it needs to go from there.
Better late than never.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's it. And Flower Child.
Yeah, short version of that is, so as you guys might remember from Abby's Cookies, Abby's Cookies went and they transferred the small business support, deferred loan agreement that we had, after about a year and a half, I think, when they, when Abby was the daughter. So Abby got a sibling.
Right.
So when Abby was at a forthcoming sibling, they sold the business to Taylor Supernut, who has run it for the last 2.5 years. And so she now apparently is having a baby, and so she's now transferring it to a fellow, John Coate, who has a business. They're gonna keep the same name. There's only about 6 months left on the deferred loan, so it's about $2,000. They're keeping the name, but we thought it would be prudent to go ahead and get the transfer of this loan agreement, which will expire at the end of June. And then the equipment will be in.
And we just need the board's approval to
Transfer.
allow us
Allow
to.
the
They have an agreement in your packet.
And it was closed for a week, was that the reason?
I think so.
Yeah, and they're only open she's only open 2 days a week now.
That's just, so just
Will
want to
this
return,
improve hours?
going on maternity leave, I guess.
That happened.
Babies require attention.
I think you have, do you have a copy of that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the package.
Should be.
So we,
So to allow the transfer.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Downtown Dogs of Glens Falls, SDS application.
Yeah, this is as I mentioned briefly in the IDA meeting, this is a business that's moving into the Hot Shop building. The woman's name is Alicia Stosic, and she's signed a lease with them. At one point, we were looking at I think the purpose of the SBS had morphed from, as the mayor sort of alluded to, we were funding between the DRI and the SBS program. We were funding a lot of businesses downtown. Many of them had been restaurants during and right after COVID. The board indicated a shift to sort of move toward more retail businesses, which is what we're sort of focusing on primarily. This particular business is actually dog grooming, but there's also going to be a retail component to it. So it's going to be about, if you ever see the building, Hot Shops, there's 2 doors. So one side essentially is going to be a retail side, the other side is going to be dog grooming and things like that. We specifically said, we could support, the retail component of that. And the professional services probably don't bring the kind of foot traffic that we're hoping to get down in that area, but we think retail is a good use. And a lot of support for business down there. We're really encouraged by that. There's also a number of them going in across the street in Chris Patton's building. I've got two different people I've talked to a little bit about that. So that was the grant we're looking at for here, is to cover half the cost of some of the retail equipment, mostly setup equipment, racking,
The desk.
desks,
Yeah,
yeah, furniture, fixtures, and equipment.
So, and it's 15, the total cost of the project is 30,000 with the SBS reimbursement 15,000. So 50%, which is what we traditionally do.
Any, we don't have a motion regarding that, Jeff, or do we?
You do, yeah, you should, yeah.
Right.
So there's a resolution should be in your package.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. We just want to make sure there's no questions or.
Any questions about that? Not seeing any, or hearing any, do we have a motion to approve? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Do we have a free dog bag dispenser in our little pocket park right next to this building?
No, that's a great idea.
Yes.
I believe you're right.
Do any of these departments allow pets?
I don't think that pocket park is,
I think it's most of them.
has
Yeah,
green
sorry,
space.
actually,
But there's not many people waiting, there's gonna be people, yeah,
Oh.
and we just don't want them to. No excuses,
We
no
have these
excuses.
bags, we have these bags at all of our parks.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't sure we'd get one in that park.
I'm your lost house.
Musicians that use it on Saturday mornings can refer people to it. Let's see. That's right. Any other business?
Nope.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
So I'm gonna call together the Glens Civic Development Corporation board meeting. Our main purpose really is to approve that 5-year budget. We have a quorum. Thank you all for being here. Also, we have the minutes from the regular meeting that we held last on June 12, 2025. If anyone has any comments or changes to that? There being none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or nays? There being none, the minutes are approved and we'll get those posted. The financial report is here for September 30, 2025. Anything you want to add, Mark?
No changes, all we had all year was just the audit, the two lots and two lappers, the expenses for the total 5,300, that was a bit ago. That's it.
Okay. We've got the 5-year budget plan here, and I think as all the members remember, this is a development corporation that is in place and needs to stay in place as long as we have bonds outstanding, and we still have a bond outstanding for the library. The other bond that we had at one point for the hospital has been closed, but the library bond is still in existence, and so we are still in existence. And so the principal expense that we have is for our financial records that we have to post annually. And we don't have income coming in. It is a reminder that if we were ever to do a bond again, that we would have to change some of our administrative expenses to cover this. But we do have
How many
some,
more years on that?
Oh,
quite a few. Yeah.
Because the audit expenses just ridiculous.
There's nothing to do.
And remember,
I mean, do nothing.
and remember, these were reduced substantially from what they had been when it was part of VO.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so, I don't know, Mark, if you want to add anything more to that, but that's basically what we have here, everyone's got a copy.
Yeah, pretty consistent with prior years. We also have checks, 3 checks to be approved.
Oh, you don't have that on the agenda?
No, sorry, I missed it.
Oh, I have.
Okay, all right, so let's do one thing at a time, we'll do the 5-year budget first.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. All in favor?
And you also need to approve the financial report.
That's nice.
Yep. I did the financial report.
You didn't get it approved.
I didn't get it approved? Oh, Is there a motion to approve the financial report as presented for September 30, 2025?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? There being none, it's approved and we'll get that posted. So it's not on the agenda, but there is a Schedule A and there are bills to pay, a total of $2,379.50.
It says payment of bills, but we didn't get the schedule, is what they're saying.
No, it doesn't say it on the agenda, but it does exactly. So
Yeah.
you got the schedule.
Yes.
We got the schedule, but we didn't say, but it doesn't say it. Right.
All right, so we're adding the payment of bills, and the Schedule A is there. Also, for administrative reports, we're adding the payment of bills. And we have $3,078.83 in the account. And so we're gonna reduce it down in order to pay $2,379.50. Right? Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna have to go back to the city and ask for some more money. Just a reminder. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the Schedule A?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? There being none, motion is passed and bills are paid. Any other business under Glens Falls Civic? There being none. Next time we meet, Jeff, maybe just do a report on how many years are left with,
on
yeah, so we've got a number. Yeah. Okay,
Well, when they got that huge gift from,
I want to say 2038.
whatever, it would have been the time to go to them and say, would you possibly, would you possibly, pick up the cost of our giving you the bond, what now?
Yeah,
We let that opportunity slip.
okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the Glens Falls Civic Development Corporation meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Mayor? Urban
Urban renewal. Open up the Glens Falls Urban Renewal meeting, which again is primarily for the 5-year budget. We have everybody here, our administrative reports. We have a regular meeting held on July 10th. Has everybody seen anybody have any changes to the meeting minutes? If not, we have a motion to approve. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Under financial, we have 9 months financial report ending September 30th. Mark?
Yeah, no changes in this month, everything's the same for the last few months.
Yes, because we do nothing. You might have noticed, we do nothing.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. In payment of bills, we have a Schedule A, and it is on the agenda. Do we have, Mark, anything notable there?
Just the $80 for Fitzgerald, and then the shared expense of industrial development that the auditors want us to compensate from Urban and from CDC, basically for a portion of my pay and CEO wage. That's $550, so a total of $630.
That's just moving numbers, but no money changes,
No.
it's just accounting.
Accounting. Any questions?
Expensive, isn't it?
Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Then the review of the 5-year budget. Mark?
Yeah, just same thing, kind of staying consistent with prior years. No real changes, just expense-wise, reflection of the 3-year average down below, and estimates on income, and then estimates on the cost of property sold. That's it.
Any questions from Mark? We have a motion to approve the 5-year budget.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I don't believe we have any other reports or any other business.
Just
or-
a quick question there. I know sometimes foreclosed properties, you would switch them over to urban renewal. Are there any properties that the city's taken in foreclosure that you're considering moving this way that we would want to know about?
At this point, there isn't. There was a couple properties that we had taken over. So we don't have that in front of you. We've had those conversations and we need to get that done, but we haven't got any at this point to bring forward. As we tried to look at how we might do that, we had 2 properties in the East End that were foreclosed on and back taxes owed. And by the time we looked at the amount of money that we would want to put into it to stabilize the house and to make it safe and meet the needs of our CDG money, it was too much of an investment that would be worth it. So the 2 projects that we were looking at earlier this year, we walked away from because it was too much. You had to put in $70,000, $80,000. You owed $30,000 in back taxes. Now you're at $100,000. Certainly the property's worth that, but not to a point where it's worth it to do that. We want to do that so that we can discourage flippers, right? That would come and keep a downtrodden apartment downtrodden. But the 2 that we had to look at that to bring to the urban renewal agency didn't financially make sense. It just went, nope, that would take too much to put into it. And so the city is, we've gotten an offer for 1 property, and either we put it out to auction or we're in the process of our attorney looking at taking an offer on those properties.
There's actually 2 that are in process that the city is dealing with.
Because the input would be too great to make it, too much risk. We don't need to risk urban renewal money. We just wanted to see if we could, it sounded easy. It sounded easy to me when we were thinking about it.
So one of the reasons why I asked is Warren County formed some type of, the planning department formed a housing, and they had a meeting last week and they asked me to attend because of my former role with the state of New York. And so they ended up talking about possibly forming what's called a land bank. And they did one up in Essex County, and they had the woman that, her name is Nicole Justice Green, runs the land bank in Essex County. They had her speak and present, and so you may hear from Warren County.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have already. Yeah, I'm in discussions with Ethan already about it.
Okay.
It just hasn't risen to the mayor's office yet.
Yeah, and I did read about that. Thank you for attending, and I think it's great. I've heard of and learned a lot when I first became mayor about land banks. I had great conversations with Kathy Sheehan, mayor of Albany, a couple of years ago. It was,
We still
yeah.
Yep.
So we're just not, we weren't there yet. So,
But
but
there-
neat idea.
You'll probably be approached.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Thank
What do
you.
you think?
All right.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on?
I was gonna ask
On
about
that
your
idea.
insights as
Well,
well.
I've worked with the land bank in Essex County, and they helped tremendously on an affordable housing project there, so I very much appreciated them, and a smart organization, and I would talk with them too,
Great.
and see what,
Nicole is very, very good at her job.
she's,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
So I would talk with them and see if it's something that makes sense to, I
Yeah.
think she could help advise you.
I think the more tools you have, the quivers in your bag of arrows, arrows you have in your bag of quivers.
I think she's taken over.
Arrows in your quiver. The quiver is the best.
All right, there we go. So, right, I think that the more options you have, that would be great. And I think in this case, I had this idea, and we met with Kara, and Pat started to look at how much CDG money could go to stabilizing a house. And as we started, we actually had 2 properties in Glens Falls, and I thought, well, we're gonna bring this to urban renewal, and this will make a great idea. But the numbers
Don't work.
went, oh, not in here, right? I think there may be a great opportunity in our future
I think
for
so
us to
too.
maybe save some properties.
I think so.
But the 2 that we started with, because we just recently acquired them, the numbers just, it doesn't work, and we don't need to do this at a risk. We don't want urban renewal to get stuck with properties and have them be losers. We go from bad to worse.
So, if I recall correctly, the way urban renewal ends up with these properties is they are not successfully bid on at tax sale. And you can count on the fact that the numbers don't work if none of our local flippers have picked it up at tax sale. So you know already you're in a deficit. So our mindset shouldn't be that we need to make the numbers work. Our mindset should be that we need to find some money that will undo that deficit.
Gotcha. Yes.
And that's what that land bank is doing in Essex County. They're bringing in other state resources through
Finding
various different programs and creating home ownership opportunities oftentimes for first-time home buyers. So they're using a program called the Affordable Home Ownership Development Program. And the State Housing Agency is providing some funding, not a lot, but some funding for the operations of land banks, at least I think for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
But Nicole just.
And they've got to become self-sustaining.
They do
The
have to
profit,
be.
you make a profit and you reinvest it.
Yes.
Right,
You
yes,
never,
exactly.
you never realize the profit, you reuse the profit.
Fantastic.
Well, and we're also lucky here because we have an HCR grant for home buyers where we're doing 12, over 2 years, we'll do roughly 6 a year to get low-income people into houses that they can afford and that are at the level. And then we also have where we're doing 20, I think, or 22 rehabilitation projects for people who are low income so they can stay in their houses. We also have a third grant called Access, which allows people who are disabled to be able to have enhancements done to their home so that they can get in their home.
And
But
stay
part
there.
of that also is up to, I think it's up to 40% of it can also be rehab. So you can fix the front porch, you can put a ramp there, you can take the bathroom in the first floor and turn it into a handicap accessible bathroom, and you can do rehab on the first floor living room to make that into a bedroom for someone. So
And you
that,
can widen the doorways.
Right, correct.
That expense is insane. I mean, who knew? But their structural elements are all dependent on that frame, so they have to redo the framing. So that's a huge expense in rehabbing, which is why this funding was
well,
critical.
we've been, and as I said, we've been very lucky over the course of, I don't know, 20 years, Jim? Between the CDBG program and the separate rehab grant, between the grant for housing purchase and this new access grant that we got, and vacant rental, which we talked about in the previous meeting, right? There's lots of opportunity, and we're doing lots of really good work for our residents here in the city. And with the home purchase program, it actually goes to the whole county.
Right.
And maybe if this would be something that the county would do and cover Glens Falls and not just Glens Falls.
Right.
Well, I mean, it actually, the reverse was up until recently. The reverse was true, that the city actually went to the state and said there's no grant to help low-income people purchase housing in the county. So if we administer it here and we split it 50-50 or 60-40 or whatever, it gives us the opportunity to be able to do the work here, but also to be able to go out in the county.
Yep.
So,
And
I don't know that we
administer
can
it,
do.
the cost of the administration of the grant was
Correct.
then
Correct,
by us.
correct. Well, paid by the grant.
Right, funded through us, right.
Right, exactly, yeah. So,
All right, sorry.
Yep, that's great.
All good?
Not having any other business, do we, I don't believe we need an executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.